Well, good morning and welcome to the 1111 Gathering. This is Frank in Williamsburg. We're continuing on through the book Faith Without Religion, and today we're at entry number 125, which is called The Key is Prayer. Now, you may recall it wasn't that long ago, probably about 10 days, when we had another entry called Prayer is the Key. So I think there's a theme there. One thing that I do want to tell you is that when these writings were originally created, it wasn't like the Lord gave me a title and then I wrote it down and then we built around the title. What actually happened is he would just tell me what I needed to write down, and then later on, when we decided to publish the writings into a book, we would look at each entry and look at what the theme was and then create a title ourselves based around that, as like an extract from the actual writing. So that's how sometimes we end up with similar sounding titles for the entry. It's just to give you a flavor as to what the teaching is going to be about in that particular instance. So let's see what God repeated, well, not repeated, but stated a different way about the situation with prayer. Do not let complacently settle into your lives in any way, says God. The victories you have seen are consequences of your obedience and your boldness in the spiritual realm with prayer. As I said before, if prayer was your only weapon, how much would you pray? When it comes to matters of the supernatural, prayer is your only weapon. Make sure that your thoughts are continually prayerful, that your words are powerful and prophetic. Do not waste time pondering on worldly, frivolous things. See your activities as taking place on a spiritual battlefield. The enemy does. Remember, you are warring against principalities and powers that are seeking to gain control over your life. You can only defeat them by maintaining a spiritual mindset in everything that you do. Remember that I said, I will set a table for you in the midst of your enemies. From this table, we will plan and orchestrate your victories. From this table, you will select the weapons that will wipe out the enemy. The key to the positioning of this table is prayer. The key to the provision upon this table is prayer. Keep sharpening your sword of the Spirit. Speak out my word with power and authority. Be on the offensive and not the defensive. No one wins a battle while retreating. An army loses when they start to believe that they may lose. You must be confident in your victory. You must stand on the truth that greater is he that's in you. There have been setbacks. You've suffered some lost ground, but it does not mean that your victory is any less assured. Keep pressing and do not let up. You cannot inflict a wound upon the enemy and then back off to see what happens. You must follow through. Seek to utterly destroy them and watch them flee from you. Wow. Well, there's a lot of meat in there for you to go over again, so I highly recommend you rewind the video and then pause it a few times as you go through and just ponder on what God is saying through that. When we're talking about eliminating the enemy, we're talking about what goes on in the supernatural realm, in the spiritual world that is alive and thriving all around you, where there's constant warfare being waged between the forces of evil and the forces of good. God willing, you're part of the forces for good. And that being the case, we need to be standing up, particularly at this moment in time with everything that's gone on around us and is going on around us and will continue to go on around us, particularly until the return of the Mashiach. And we don't know when that's going to be. but we have to be prepared. We have to be equipping the saints. That's us, that's each other. And we can equip by building up, by supporting, by encouraging, by guiding people to where they can find the truth, guiding them to the source of all truth, which of course is God's living word. We never want to be without that. And really that's always the focus of what we do here, is to push you back towards that source of all truth, towards God's living word, so that you can be blessed by hearing what God wants you to be doing with your life. He will unfold for you the blueprint that he created before the beginning, just for you. It's there, it's contained in that word, but you have to go in there and look for it and let him speak to you. So you ask questions, you listen. You read his word, you ask him what that means that you have to do, and you listen. No other person can give you those instructions. That's a personal thing directly between you and your creator. And it's the most exciting thing that we have, that privilege to have that personal one-on-one relationship. And it's not about religions and joining things and churches and all that stuff. Nothing wrong with any of those things if that's what you enjoy being a part of, but they are not your source. Your relationship with the living God is your source and should be the only source that you trust. Very, very important. So get reconnected if you're not fully connected now. And remember, prayer is the key. We'll see you back here again tomorrow at 11:11. Bye for now.